join me on a windy morning. We're fishing for tench again. I hope you enjoy the video. Look at that go. Yeah, it's a lovely tench. Do love these fish. Definitely found a method that works as well here. Or it's working for me at the moment. Wow, smashing. Yeah, lovely. Whew. So we've been here about an hour. We got here and we put a few spods out of maggots and casters. And yeah, it's taken about an hour for them to get on the feed. And we've had this one. He's probably around about 7 pounds. Haven't weighed him, but I can tell he's either a few ounces under or over. Stunning, stunning fish. Yeah, I've put some more spods out already. Hopefully we'll get some more. So let's go through the approach that I'm taking today. I'll go through the rods and reels later in the video, but I've got 10-pound feeder line on the reels, and basically I'm fishing a fairly classic sort of worm kebab style heli rig. So the first thing that I put onto the main line is one of the Heli-Kits. As you come down then, I've got a small clip, and onto the clip I have got an open-ended combi feeder. So I've just taken the ends out and I'm going to use it open. Onto the Heli-Kit, I've got a short rig that's about 4 or 5 inches long. It's got a size 10 penetrator hook, and it's got one of the quick stops that's going to help me add my worms. It's worth saying that sometimes I do just use the ready tied rigs. These are great in 4-inch, or if you want them a little bit longer, you can buy the longer ones and just cut them down slightly. These come in a few different breaking strains with different size hooks, and already come with a quick stop tied on as well. So great for fishing these sort of worm style rigs, you know. So all I've got there is 2 or 3 Dendrobina style worms on the hair and some maggots in the feeder that's just sandwiched by the krill and squid ground bait. I think one of the important things here is bait application. So when I turned up, I literally, all I'm spodding out is maggots and casters. I'm not spodding anything else out. And when I got here, I just put sort of 2 or 3 spods out straight away and then put both rods on it. So if you can imagine, I'm fishing both rods on a single spot, if you like, either side of that spot, trying to get everything really tight. What I would say is, you know, don't stretch yourself with this. I've made it really easy for myself. I'm only going sort of like 7.5 wraps. You know, and so that I'm able to actually get all the rods on the spot really accurately, and I think that's really important. When I say 7.5 wraps, that's because the spod rod where I'm spodding maggots out with, that's set to 7. The actual rods themselves are actually set to 7.5, and that's just to allow for the sort of like for the feeders to swing down on a tight line in the depth of water. So you can see, you know, I really am trying to get everything really accurate here. And all I'm doing is putting a few spods out onto that spot after each fish. So, you know, I'm not putting tons and tons out. I'm really just putting enough out to get the next bite. What I would say with the maggots and casters is that whilst I'm not putting tons of it out, through the course of the day, quite a lot probably will go out. You know, I'm easily going to get through about sort of 6 to 8 pints of maggots, I think, and a couple of pints of casters. But the thing is, so make sure that you bring plenty with you. Obviously, if action slows, I won't put as much bait in, but if it absolutely heats up, I'll be putting more in. Had the first indication for a little while. Had that fish about 45 minutes ago, and yeah, nothing, but I've just had a line bite on the left hand rod, which is a good sign. Taken a while for that bite to come. Had a lot of heavy rain, and then since it stopped, we've had a couple of bites. Could this be the big one we're after? Oh, yep, looks like a good one. Oh. In he goes. So we've got another cracker. Haven't weighed it, but he's a nice fish. He's just missing a little bit of his gill plate. I don't know if you can see that. Look, just there. But a lovely tench. Yeah, had some heavy rain, which seemed to put them off for a little while. The rain stopped, and I got a bite straight away. So let's hope that maybe they might have a bit of a feed up now. I've put a couple of spombs out, and hopefully they'll get on it. I've had nothing, so I'm going to do a bit of a reset. I've gone quiet for at least an hour. I'm literally going to bring both rods in, put a couple of spods out, and hopefully reactivate this swim, which has gone dead. So it feels like they're definitely on the bait now. They do like those maggots and casters. I'm sure it's... Oh, he's curling up a bit. I'm sure it's that is bringing them in. But it's another lovely, lovely tench. I'll never get bored of catching these. Yeah, the ever faithful heli rig, doing it again. Haven't weighed him. I reckon he's about 6.5, something like that, between 6.5 and 7. But a stunning fish. Had a liner on this a little while ago, thought it was going to go, and it has gone. Hope it's the big one. I'd like if this is the big one, really would. Nice fish. Another very, very nice looking fish. Come on, come on, come on. Yes. Very, very good. The proper chunk. Look at him. Nice big tench. Yeah, blown away. Unbelievable. I'm going to slip him back. So worms can be absolutely devastating for tench, but it's not the silver bullet. It's not going to work everywhere. It kind of depends on your lake. If you've got a lot of nuisance fish, you'll find it very difficult to fish with worms. Or I've got lakes where they work really well in early spring, but by the time you get to late spring and the whole lake's woken up properly, they can, the nuisance fish can become a bit of a problem. And when that happens, of course, you need an alternative approach. So it's early morning and you join me on a lake. I started off on my worm kebab rigs, ever faithful, you know, with a combi feeder, absolutely getting smashed to bits by the small stuff. So the lake really has well and truly woken up, including all the small fish, and I just couldn't keep a rod in the water. The indicator was going crazy with all the small roach and perch and whatever else. It's still pretty cold, to be honest, out here. You know, it's early morning, it's only about 8, it's coming up for 8 o'clock. I'm surprised that the silverfish and the small fish are as active as they are. You've just got to play it by ear, I guess. You know, I started off with the worms, absolutely getting torn apart. If you can't keep a bait in the water, then you've got to change your methods. As much as I like that rig, you know, I do okay on the flatbed feeder as well. Got one on, drop back. Quite a fierce one as well. It wasn't as far out as the other rod, that one. Flatbed feeders, definitely the way to go. Oh, it's come up, good. Very nearly done me in the edge there. Come on, let's stop messing about. Let's get him in the net. Oh, oh, oh. There we go, he's in. Only a little one, but really gave a good account for himself. nearly done me in the edge. On the Pellet-Os again. Yeah, they seem to be working really well. Got a couple of hours still, so let's see what happens. In terms of the outfit that I'm using, I am using the XTND 12 footers in 1.75. I'm not sure how many people realise that these rods come like in a 12 foot, the XTNDs. But the pack down size is fantastic, fits in the back of the car perfectly in a little holdall, and you've got, you know, full length 12 foot rods that are really easy to transport. Onto those I've got 5,000 size reels with 10-pound feeder line, and I'm going in with the Dura Method feeders to try and combat these small fish. One piece of terminal tackle that I really do like is the camo turbo beads. You know, you get a lot of these sort of quick change beads that are made of plastic. This has got metal components in, which I really like for that extra bit of strength. And I've got a little 4-inch hair rig here. Again, for strength, more often than not, I've started to use the coated braid, but have also been using mono, and I've been catching fish on both. And just under a size 10 penetrator hook, I've got a hair that's holding a couple of the Pellet-Os. What I'm doing, I'm not actually placing the hook bait in the feeder, as people often do. This is because I'm doing something slightly unusual in that I'm placing 8mm Scalded pellets into the feeder, just to make sure that there's something there near the hook bait that's not going to get absolutely demolished by these small fish. I am though then also packing in some of the Power Scopex ground bait just to make sure that it all holds together. What I'm doing with one rod is fairly standard feeder tactics, where I'm just trying to hit the same spot and build up the swim a bit. But actually with the other one, and this is quite a classic early spring tactics when the water is still a little bit cold, the fish might be shoaled up. So what I'm doing with the other rod is I'm actually moving it around trying to locate fish. And more often than not, it seems to be this rod that's going. Thought I saw a fish roll there. And got a fish on. I'll actually come over here to let that. Oh, it's fighting like hell. Oh, I got it. Whew. God, that beat me up. So we got one, and it's a good one. There we are, look at him. Stunning. On a flatbed feeder. What an absolutely stunning fish. Just after a recast, it's always worth recasting if nothing's happening. Only been in the water 5 minutes and it tore off.